Hello guys, hope you're well, thanks for coming back. Today we're going to be looking at a build order for the Franks, which hopefully will appeal to quite a lot of you, because obviously Franks are the most played civ in the game, so hopefully you'll all appreciate this one. So what we're actually looking at today is a double castle drop into Throwing Axemen with siege, so generally Mangonels, but you can probably use scorpions if you wanted to, or a mixture. Entirely up to you, but it's pretty much the standard start: 6 on sheep, 4 to wood, 1 to lure the first boar. So whilst that's happening, I'll just carry on giving you a little bit of news. So we've actually set up a Patreon for the channel, so if you wanted to support the channel, that would be very much appreciated if you do, but in return you will get copies of PDF build orders, so the ones that you can print off and have beside you whilst you play. So a lot of people have been quite interested in having PDF build orders. We've got them for every single channel video build order that's on the channel, so we're at about 45 I think at the minute, round about there. So massive collection, and there's various packages you can get and stuff like that. So the link for the Patreon will be in the description, and generally it's just a way for me to get you the PDF build orders. Essentially, that's the main reason I set it up. But whilst we're on this sort of subject, if you're interested in Age of Empires 2 content, you want to improve the game or learn build orders, then do subscribe to the channel, because as I say, we've got loads of build orders, there's still more to come, and there's also other hints and tips guides, there's map guides and all sorts of stuff, as well as some game commentaries as well, and Discord submissions and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, do consider subscribing. So now that war's coming in, the next villager to come out is going to go over towards the barriers, make 2 houses over by the walls there, and following on from that, the next 4 villagers to come out are going to go to barriers as well. So that'll give us a total of 5 on berries, which works out really well with this build order because of the Franks berry gathering bonus. It's good that we can kind of utilise that, but the timing of when the berries will be collected is quite crucial. It finishes just as we hit Castle Age, which is really important because our stone villagers will be going forward and the berry villagers will just be going over to stone, just to finish off some stone. But at this point you want to be pushing deer in. So as you can see, that's what we're doing now. We've got 1 in. This build does include all the deer. We're quite lucky with this map because we've got 4 deer, but it does work with 3 deer. It just means you may need to put a couple of farms down a little bit sooner, and perhaps double bit axe will be slightly delayed. Slightly delayed. We actually get it before we click up to Castle Age. The only difference is you'll get it once you've clicked up to Castle Age, so it's not really much of an issue. So next villager to come out is going to go to boar. Come on, there we go. And then the next 6 villagers, yes 6, are going to go to stone. So quite heavy on stone at this point in the game, like so. We will want to make another house at some point soon. Probably not just yet. Look at that deer lore. So at the minute we're just focusing on just collecting the deer, clearing all those up before moving on to sheep or making farms or anything. It's just so, obviously because of the faster gathering rate from the villagers with the huntable food sources, just makes it a little bit more efficient by keeping them all on there at this point. That deer push. There you go. I think I just got fed up of it running away. It's close enough to the town centre, that'll do. So this sort of idea for this build order came from basically I found a build order on AOE Companion, I think it was. As you can see, we're just going to lure the next boar with an existing villager, and it was for a double castle drop with Spanish into conquistadors. Now I had a little go at it, and I felt as though it wasn't quite as efficient or beneficial as it could have been. once you've got the castles down for this double castle drop with Spanish, you can get a few conquistadors out, but you can't maintain production of them and villages at the same time. You kind of struggle a little bit. Yeah, I came up with a different idea from that. As you can see, next village has just come out to wood, and then the next one after that's going to go to wood as well, and then we're going to finish off with 2 going to stone to gold. We're not going to get loom. We're going to save a bit of time and save a bit of gold on loom there. As you can see, we're just finishing that boar off, and then those villagers are just going to start taking the cows or remaining sheep or whatever you've got. So yeah, I decided to come up with this one for the Franks off that sort of similar idea, and I figured, you know, throwing axemen, they're pretty decent nowadays. They're not as bad as they used to be. They're pretty tough. Everyone's going to generally expect you to go for knights probably, so it might take them off guard a little bit, or take them by surprise a little bit, but then add in the siege in as well will just protect your throwing axemen from any other siege that your enemy might produce to counter you, or any crossbowmen, or things like that. So that's the whole sort of premise behind it, plus the fact that they'll be able to just rip down town centres. And yeah, so pretty strong build order. It's definitely one that I'd recommend using mainly on maps like Hideout, maps like Arena. Hillfort as well is probably another good one. So generally on closed maps, you're going to want to use this. So I'll just fast forward a little bit. There's nothing we really need to do. As you can see, I took the weaker villages off, just made some farms, and then they're just going to finish off that the cows there. So there's 6 of them there on the cows. As you can see, we just took some villagers off wood. They're going to immediately make a blacksmith and a market. Next 2 villages that come out are going to go over to wood. And then at some point soon, we're going to take 2 villagers off of the sheep. Probably when the sheep or the cows down to about half of what's left, we're going to take them off there, send them to stone, giving us a total of 8 on stone. Oh, there we go. And then just leaves us with those 4 on the cow, so they're just going to finish that off. As you can see, we had enough food for double bit axe to come in, and castle age upgrade is coming in as well. And then we're just going to leave those just to collect a bit more stone. The berries are finished now, so the berry villagers are going to come over to the stone. Stone villagers are going to drop off the stone and go forward, and we're also going to take 2 villagers from the sheep and send them forward as well. So we're going to send 10 villagers forward, which is massive, obviously. But that's mainly just so that we've got 5 building each castle, which is probably still not enough. And certainly with Spanish, it works out a bit better because of the faster building speed. But hopefully you should be okay with this one, because we are getting up a relatively decent time. Your enemy probably won't be up early enough to get a decent sized army unless they've gone for some sort of feudal rush, which would be strange on these sorts of maps. So hopefully you should be able to get the castles up quite well, but yeah, it's certainly quite risky, especially as we've not got loom at this point. But as soon as we do hit the castle age, that's going to be the very first thing that we're going to do. We're going to research loom. So once we had 976 stone, we've just sent the those villagers over to farms, those that were on the berries originally. And from this point onwards, it's generally a case of just making farms with any new villagers that come out. Generally for spots for your castles, try and put them near some gold and some wood, because your 5 villagers from 1 are going to go onto wood, 5 are going to go onto gold. So it's quite important that you do that, really, for the rest of the build order to work. But yeah, just back at home, it's just a case of keep making farms at this point. You want to get to about between 18 and 20 farms. I'd probably recommend 20. I do 18 on this one, but probably recommend 20 just to be safe, and then you can start sending some more over to gold at that point, just so you can start producing the Mangonels a little bit easier. Because once you've got those 5 on wood, you'll have plenty of wood, so it's not going to be a problem there. But obviously to keep maintaining production of Throwing Axemen and Mangonels, you're going to need quite a few on gold. So the actual Throwing Axemen themselves, for double production, only need like 4 or 5 villagers on gold, so that's fine. But obviously to throw some Mangonels into the mix as well, it's quite a heavy gold cost. But as you can see, we are producing Throwing Axemen. Slight delay there in production. Let's ignore that. There we go. Obviously doing a few bits back at the base at that point. So the good thing as well is that you get the free farm upgrades. So that really helps with this build order as well, and certainly with producing the Mangonels. Just because it's delaying the need to get the farms down again, keep replenishing them. So yeah, just keep making the Throwing Axemen. You'll see this, you'll get quite a mass of them together. And again, back at home, not really much happening, but I'll just fast forward a little bit, because that's literally all we're doing, is making farms, making Throwing Axemen, and then getting the siege workshop down. So you may be able to get it down a little bit sooner than I did here, but you may not. But it's around 20 minutes we're getting the Mangonels out, and we've got nearly 20 Throwing Axemen. So we've got 16, but there's a few more coming out. Won't take long for those to come out. And as you can see, we get to a point where we start struggling for food a little bit. Do have 19 on farms. That's why I say perhaps have another one just to be safe. But we are getting some upgrades in now. We're getting the gold mining upgrade again, just to help maintain that production of Mangonels. At this point, I've kind of made the switch from Throwing Axemen. I've got a decent number, 18 of them, to Mangonels again, because at this point they'll start making some counters. As you can see, there's already a siege workshop there. So that's kind of Mangonels are the kind of one of the perfect counters towards Throwing Axemen. So yeah, don't run off into the town centre like that. As you can see, more Mangonels coming, and soon enough, we'll start getting the upgrades. I'm getting Bowsaw in now, so Bowsaw's quite late coming in, but that's because we've been prioritising on getting an army and going full aggression really. But we will start getting the upgrades in, getting wheelbarrow. And there's we've got the armor upgrade coming in now. So once you've perhaps got some of your upgrades, or most of your upgrades, you can start making the Throwing Axemen again. But you may want to focus on just getting up the numbers. It's entirely up to you what you want to do at that point. But I decided to just put a bit of a stop on production of the Throwing Axemen at that point. And as you can see, more and more Mangonels coming out. We're getting a decent amount now, so we can start taking down all the buildings quite easily. We will be getting the barracks up at some point, so we can get arson, and eventually you can get some stables down. I mean, we've got enough wood, so we could at least get a stable down. So again, it's quite easy in terms of transitioning into knights if you wanted to. You may find as though you need to, especially if there's quite a bit of siege out on the field from your enemy, and you don't want to throw away your Throwing Axemen. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Thank you very much. If you do enjoy Age of Empires 2 content, you're looking to improve the game or learn build orders, then do consider subscribing. And also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a little like, and let me know in the comments what you think to this build. Okay guys, I'll see you on the next one.